It's Clarion, Grandmaster J, Tiny Mikado, Black Africans, Hebrews of Egypt, 23rd dynasty, about 725 BC. Yeah, you can go to Isaiah 11:11. You can read it. I know the fact. We are Israelites. Stop enslaving us and killing us. Yeah. This is the struggle. Nothing can stop us. Then.
Tribes of Israel, all 12 of them. You enslaved us. You degraded us. Traded our women and our men. Stole our history. Stole our religion. And now you're trying to steal our lives. What you want us to believe they matter. You can kiss my ass right in the crack.
You keep treating us like we are nothing. Now we gonna let you know we something. Everything original. Have you ever asked yourself when you die, where are you going to? We are equal in the eyes of God. Stop treating us bad. Freedom, 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 yeah. Yeah. Grandmaster J, the elect, and the chosen ones. Tiny Mikado, it's Clarion.
It's just
The situation's getting twisted, situations getting crowded. So many things are so wrong. Yeah, 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 yeah. Since 1960 from now, no improvement, no hope, yeah. Take for instance the Chinese trying to take over, digging up our resources from here and there, yeah. From here and there, yeah, yeah. Wake up, Africa. Wake up, our leaders. Can't you see what's going on? Yeah. Wake up. Wake up. Africa, wake up. Needed to wake up. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Wake up. Oh. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Africa, wake up. Yeah. Why is everybody looking up when they busy looking down? They're digging up our diamonds, digging up our gold, taking everything they could. Let's carry on. We slept for so long. We need to wake up. Rise, Africa. One voice, one mind, one spirit. Black is beautiful.
As stated in the previous video, the original covenant that Yah made with the people of Israel, our ancestors, is still in force today. We are still to keep the laws, regulations, decrees, and instructions our forefathers agreed to. The covenant has not been replaced by the promised new covenant as yet, despite what some claim. For we read, "But at last my people will confess their sins and the sins of their ancestors for betraying me and being hostile toward me. When I have turned their hostility back on them and brought them to the land of their enemies, then at last their stubborn hearts will be humbled, and they will pay for their sins. Then I will remember my covenant with Jacob, and my covenant with Isaac, and my covenant with Abraham, and I will remember the land. For the land must be abandoned to enjoy its years of Sabbath rest as it lies deserted. At last the people will pay for their sins, for they have continually rejected my regulations and despised my decrees. But despite all this, I will not utterly reject or despise them while they are in exile in the land of their enemies. I will not cancel my covenant with them by wiping them out, for I am Yah their Elohim. For their sakes, I will remember my ancient covenant with their ancestors, whom I brought out of the land of Egypt in the sight of all the nations, that I might be their Elohim. I am Yah. These are the decrees, regulations, and instructions that Yah gave through Moses on Mount Sinai as evidence of the relationship between himself and the Israelites." Note that Yah said the covenant can be canceled by Israel, his chosen people, being wiped out. That has not been the case. Therefore, the original covenant he made with us at Sinai is still in place and in force today. Make no mistake about that. And this covenant, the same that was made on Mount Sinai, is evidence of the relationship between Yah and the people of Israel. Any deviation from the original covenant is not evidence of that relationship. This is clear. The covenant was to be the sign that said to the world, the children of Israel are the chosen people of Yah. The only evidence we have today of that fact are the curses that rest on us, as we are still scattered among the various nations we were led away captive to as slaves on ships. And one important thing to understand about the new covenant is that it will not involve a new set of laws or doing away of laws, as some might think. Instead, the new covenant will just be Yah's way of getting us to keep our end of the bargain, getting us to live up to our promise to keep the laws, regulations, decrees, and instructions he listed at Sinai, and it will take a literal miracle in order for this to happen. Remember, Yah does not change. "I am Yah, I do not change. That is why you descendants of Jacob are not already destroyed. So neither can his law change. I tell you the truth, until heaven and earth disappear, not even the smallest detail of Elohim's law will disappear until its purpose is achieved." That takes us to the new covenant. What exactly is it anyway? "The day is coming," says Yah, "when I will make a new covenant with the people of Israel and Judah. This covenant will not be like the one I made with their ancestors when I took them by the hand and brought them out of the land of Egypt. They broke that covenant, though I loved them as a husband loves his wife," says Yah. "But this is the new covenant I will make with the people of Israel on that day," says Yah. "I will put my instructions deep within them, and I will write them on their hearts. I will be their Elohim, and they will be my people. And they will not need to teach their neighbors, nor will they need to teach their relatives, saying, 'You should know Yah.' For everyone, from the least to the greatest, will know me already," says Yah. "And I will forgive their wickedness, and I will never again remember their sins." As stated, the old covenant is still in force until the new covenant replaces it, but that time is yet future, as you will see. And we are not talking about laws being changed or replaced. Our ability to keep those laws will be the only thing that will change. And, as stated, it will take a literal miracle in order for us to keep our promise to uphold Yah's laws. The book of Ezekiel sheds more light on how this will happen. "Therefore, give the people of Israel this message from the sovereign Yah. I am bringing you back, but not because you deserve it. I am doing it to protect my pure name, on which you brought shame while you were scattered among the nations. I will show how pure my name is, the name on which you brought shame among the nations. And when I reveal my purity through you before their very eyes, says the sovereign Yah, then the nations will know that I am Yah. For I will gather you up from all the nations and bring you home again to your land. Then I will sprinkle clean water on you, and you will be clean. Your filth will be washed away, and you will no longer worship idols. And I will give you a new heart, and I will put a new spirit in you. I will take out your stony, stubborn heart and give you a tender, responsive heart. And I will put my spirit in you so that you will follow my decrees and be careful to obey my regulations. And you will live in Israel, the land I gave your ancestors long ago. You will be my people, and I will be your Elohim. I will cleanse you of your filthy behavior. I will give you good crops of grain, and I will send no more famines on the land. I will give you great harvests from your fruit trees and fields, and never again will the surrounding nations be able to scoff at your land for its famines. Then you will remember your past sins and despise yourselves for all the detestable things you did. But remember, says the sovereign Yah, I am not doing this because you deserve it. O my people Israel, you should be utterly ashamed of all you have done. This is what the sovereign Yah says. When I cleanse you from your sins, I will repopulate your cities and the ruins will be rebuilt. The fields that used to lie empty and desolate in plain view of everyone will again be farmed. And when I bring you back, people will say, this former wasteland is now like the Garden of Eden. The abandoned and ruined cities now have strong walls and are filled with people. Then the surrounding nations that survive will know that I, Yah, have rebuilt the ruins and replanted the wasteland. For I, Yah, have spoken. And I will do what I say. This is what the sovereign Yah says. I am ready to hear Israel's prayers and to increase their numbers like a flock. They will be as numerous as the sacred flocks that fill Jerusalem's streets at the time of her festivals. The ruined cities will be crowded with people once more, and everyone will know that I am Yah. Again, this miraculous event is yet future, and it will take place following the prophesied regathering of Israel. I will strengthen Judah and save Israel. I will restore them because of my compassion. It will be as though I had never rejected them, for I am Yah the Elohim who will hear their cries. The people of Israel will become like mighty warriors, and their hearts will be made happy as if by wine. Their children too will see it and be glad. Their hearts will rejoice in Yah. When I whistle to them, they will come running, for I have redeemed them. From the few who are left, they will grow as numerous as they were before. Though I have scattered them like seeds among the nations, they will still remember me in distant lands. They and their children will survive and return again to Israel. I will bring them back from Egypt and gather them from Assyria. I will resettle them in Gilead and Lebanon until there is no more room for them at all. They will pass safely through the sea of distress, for the waves of the sea will be held back and the waters of the Nile will dry up. The pride of Assyria will be crushed, and the rule of Egypt will end. By my power, I will make my people strong, and by my authority, they will go wherever they wish. I, Yah, have spoken. It is important to note that when Egypt is mentioned in prophecy, it is not literal Egypt being referenced, but what Egypt represented to ancient Israel, that is, slavery. So Moses said to the people, "This is a day to remember forever, the day that you left Egypt, the place of your slavery." We are still in spiritual Egypt, Assyria, and Babylon today. Egypt, as stated in Exodus 13:3, represents slavery or bondage, whereas Assyria represents exile. At that time, the king of Assyria exiled the Israelites to Assyria and placed them in colonies in Halah, along the banks of the Habor River in Gozan, and in the cities of the Medes. And Babylon represents captivity. Nebuchadnezzar led King Jehoiakim away as a captive to Babylon, along with the queen mother, his wives and officials, and all Jerusalem's elite. Prophecies of Israel's regathering abound in Scripture. As for the timing of the regathering, which will take place just before the new covenant is established, we are told, "Someday, O Israel, I will gather you. I will gather the remnant who are left. I will bring you together again like sheep in a pen, like a flock in its pasture. Yes, your land will again be filled with noisy crowds. Your leader will break out and lead you out of exile, out through the gates of the enemy cities, back to your own land. Your king will lead you. Yah himself will guide you." Our king will lead us, we are told. This is exactly what Yeshua himself stated to the 12 disciples. "And then at last, the sign that the Son of Man is coming will appear in the heavens, and there will be deep mourning among all the peoples of the earth. And they will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven with power and great glory, and he will send out his heavenly messengers with the mighty blast of a trumpet, and they will gather his chosen ones from all over the world, from the farthest ends of the earth and heaven. And again he said, "But when the Son of Man comes in his glory, and all the heavenly messengers with him, then he will sit upon his glorious throne. All the nations will be gathered in his presence, and he will separate the people as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. He will place the sheep at his right hand and the goats at his left. Then the king will say to those on his right, 'Come, you who are blessed by my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the creation of the world.'" And this he said to coincide with the words of the prophet Ezekiel. "For this is what the sovereign Yah says, I myself will search and find my sheep. I will be like a shepherd looking for his scattered flock. I will find my sheep and rescue them from all the places where they were scattered on that dark and cloudy day. I will bring them back home to their own land of Israel from among the peoples and nations. I will feed them on the mountains of Israel and by the rivers and in all the places where people live. Yes, I will give them good pasture land on the high hills of Israel. There they will lie down in pleasant places and feed in the lush pastures of the hills. I myself will tend my sheep and give them a place to lie down in peace, says the sovereign Yah. I will search for my lost ones who strayed away, and I will bring them safely home again. I will bandage the injured and strengthen the weak, but I will destroy those who are fat and powerful. I will feed them, yes, feed them justice. And as for you, my flock, this is what the sovereign Yah says to his people. I will judge between one animal of the flock and another, separating the sheep from the goats." So what does all this prove? Well, for one thing, it tells us that Israel has not been regathered as yet, because that will only happen when Yeshua returns. We also know that we are not currently under the new covenant, because that will be established after we have been regathered. We also know how the covenant was broken, which resulted in our being scattered as slaves and the curses being poured out on us as a people. But where are we now? What is our purpose as a scattered flock? While the answers to these questions won't be given in full in this video, look for many answers in future videos. But I can say this, the healing will only begin if and when we begin to obey Yah. We must not be like our rebellious ancestors. Rather, we are to live up to the following. In the future, when you experience all these blessings and curses I have listed for you, and when you are living among the nations to which Yah your Elohim has exiled you, take to heart all these instructions. If at that time you and your children return to Yah your Elohim, and if you obey with all your heart and all your soul all the commands I have given you today, then Yah your Elohim will restore your fortunes. He will have mercy on you and gather you back from all the nations where he has scattered you. Even though you are banished to the ends of the earth, Yah your Elohim will gather you from there and bring you back again. Yah your Elohim will return you to the land that belonged to your ancestors, and you will possess that land again. Then he will make you even more prosperous and numerous than your ancestors. Yah your Elohim will change your heart and the hearts of all your descendants, so that you will love him with all your heart and soul, and so you may live. Yah your Elohim will inflict all these curses on your enemies and on those who hate and persecute you. Then you will again obey Yah and keep all his commands that I am giving you today. Yah your Elohim will then make you successful in everything you do. He will give you many children and numerous livestock, and he will cause your fields to produce abundant harvests. For Yah will again delight in being good to you as he was to your ancestors. Yah your Elohim will delight in you if you obey his voice and keep the commands and decrees written in this book of instruction, and if you turn to Yah your Elohim with all your heart and soul.
And this is your girl to talk with Tiny. Shout out to Maurice in the house for that DJ Morse. I like Boss better. Yeah. Period. Welcome to the greatest prayer you have ever stumbled over. And if you was looking for your identity, if you didn't catch it, feel free to rewind, come again. And it's me, your girl, to talk with Tiny. And today I have some amazing topics to talk about. And I mean, this lady, this medical chick that came from out of woods, from Houston, she's out there, preaching now. Well, I don't know. Wait. Let me see something. This is it? Yeah, this is it. So, let me see something real quick. Oh, here you go. Okay. So, apparently, Homegirl is out there going hard with the seizure.
There's a huge government scandal going on.
The seizure Bourget stuff, you know? And, I just think it's crazy because in such a time, like, I really don't understand, like, what is it that people really don't get? What they didn't get. Her name is medical practice medical practice Stella Emmanuel. Can you imagine that? Okay. So apparently she's going ham with it.
Release the fire of God upon this nation right now. Release the fire of God upon this nation. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Pray. Hallelujah. I need another one.
Yo, that right there is crazy. That's the whole CDB right there is so crazy because coming into the know, when you come out of the matrix and you see stuff like that, it's like, what kind of psyop is this? So I decided to do Dematria with her name, and this came up. So her name is Stella Emanuela. Wait, yeah, that is it. Emmanuel. And all her numbers came out the same. It's hardcore numbers. So I'm going to read it from the bottom to the top. Appetite for destruction. Francisco Javier Solana de. I know the devil is dear to her. Holy of the 10 utterances. David Wollstonecraft Code 9. All humans are half Satan and half God. The Illuminati of the world. Take heed that no man deceive you. Future will prove past. It's the opposite. Wow. All the time people be like, the past proves the future. The future will prove the past. Wow. Many are called, but few are chosen. Oblivious to the truth. Homegrown terrorists. Donald Trump is the sixth. Mother, son. I clone pleaders. Apollos about to be exposed. Illuminati are mentally ill. Can steal Christ's bloodline. And he do it not resist you. 923 magnificence of the 3 and 9. I don't know what that is. You've been crying forever. the numerical fabric of reality, the numerical algorithm of God, broadcast contradiction of Bible. You just make me so happy. Aw, I have a golden ticket to paradise. God's most holy birth ever. Almighty Father, creator of all, cast out for all eternity. Wow. The son of Diane Lorraine Pope. You are never gonna see me again. Number of a man 666. The Christ cannot be stopped. 2020. His truths, quoted scriptures. Only until tomorrow, Lord of Lords, King of Kings, the sun rising from Israel. Wow. So that was her. That was her numbers, but on the top, and what is this one? I didn't really read all of them like that, but in Jewish, we're gonna head to. So it says a living death, monkey, humans, ready, something bird, Raqqa, pyramid builder, October surprise, Israel, you Rasa influence. Oh, he is evil. Yours, mine. It's human nature. Sunni money. Mayday change. Georgia Jinx. Destroyers. Wow. Devil's name. Call the devil. Bro. Listen to the kids. Tony the Tiger. This one is crazy. I'm not even gonna read no more. That was good enough for me. But yeah, so she's out there like, I'm like, where would this be her? Like, it's crazy. But I know one thing, it's something. Somebody talking about some evolution, revolution, rebellion, and the fall of America. I'll leave that for a whole nother video. You ain't here for me though. You feel me? I'm not even doing that gossip. I'm not even gonna put that energy out there like that. I just, you know what I'm saying? But look at what we have here, yo. This shit right here is crazy. And I thought this was something to look at. Because truth be told, they doing the most.
Jesus. The blood of Jesus is able to heal. The blood of Jesus is able to deliver. The blood of Jesus is able to cleanse.
And they know I don't know if people quite get this, but I mean that whole thing that they fighting, man, with that image is horrendous. It is so horrendous at a time like now. It's so crucial. It's so crucial. They know that they falling apart. They need that movement in full effect. See, it's kind of hard to like even pay her mind, but it's like, is she serious? Like, we're talking about doctors. We're talking about people that, I mean, like, obviously the book is sealed. See, the Most High said, you would know my children by my fruit. You would know my children by their fruit. By their fruit. And it's like, what's going on right now, that don't even add up. That's like a struggle and shit, still trying to keep that. And for me, she could be under MK control. She could be under some kind of type of something. I don't know. But I know one thing. That season bullshit shit, them days is over. Oh, let what's his face tell it to you. My homie, hold up. Let me go ahead and go get him real quick. Period. He is so fast to tell you about what's getting ready to hook on. Period, boo. And where we at? We right here. Right here. Yup. Yeah, this one right here is lit.
Good rising, brethren. This is Big Judah, coming to you guys from California. Before I begin, give all praise to the Most High, Yahweh. Acknowledgement to the earthly mother, who was wisdom, who was the Holy Spirit. Acknowledgement to Yahweh Shai. Prayer to the Most High blesses this lesson this afternoon. Gives more knowledge and understanding of the events of the past, in order to understand the events that are currently happening on the earth. So we get a much better understanding of things that are soon to come on the earth. And take a quick look here at something that just transpired over there in the bubble for the NBA. This guy, Jonathan Isaac, last week decided to be one of the players, of course, that did not take a knee at the beginning of the game. Now we need to look at things, on a much deeper level. We're not worried about supporting Black Lives or Black Lives Matter, because we know that it's all about Hebrew lives, and Hebrew lives matter. Now, I think that the issue wasn't necessarily, he brought attention to himself by not taking the knee, but then what he did was he went off on some, when they asked him after the game why he did that, he went off on some rant, and it sounded, it didn't make any sense, but it was all going into about the whole gospel of Christ and Jesus Christ, and people aren't perfect, and seeming as if, everybody should be forgiven, we're all equal and everything else. See, that's what the issue is right now. See, forever they've been able to just trot out the I believe in God, thank God for this, and thank God for being able to win this championship, and thank God for being able to give me the opportunity to play this sport, and all that time they were talking about white Jesus. See, white Jesus has left the building. Our power is here now. So now if you're going to make, bring attention to yourself, and then you're going to pretty much put yourself against the real Most High, the power of the Most High of the Hebrews, then you open yourself up for curses. You open yourself up for bad things to happen to you. So let's take a quick look here. Jonathan Isaac's protest could have been applauded if his explanation wasn't nonsense. And I'm not gonna read this whole thing. No big deal. He didn't take a knee. Whatever. As far as the whole Black Lives Matter, we know they're just still not giving us. They're still trying to use bywords to say who we are. They are not going to tell the truth about who we are as far as the Most High's chosen people, unless the Most High puts pressure on them. See, good times Jesus only gives them good things. The Most High, the real Most High, does both. He gives you that. He gives you the blessings and the curses. You guys already saw what happened to this guy. We're going to talk about that a little bit, but I want to here he is right here. He did not take a knee, which, hey, whatever, that's cool. Let me see. So if one were to guess who will nestle his way into the crevices of a sanctioned protest, you'd have to go far down the line before selecting Isaac. And on paper, his reasoning would be hard to argue with if it weren't from the playbook of the disingenuous. It says, after all, who can argue against God? You can find many a churchgoer praying to their God every Sunday, shedding tears over the senseless loss of a loved one at the hands of the state. Perhaps Isaac should have consulted them before stepping out front. It says, I believe for myself, my life has been supported through the gospel, image of God. So we know he's talking about Jesus Christ, okay? All God's glory. We all do things we should do. We hate those we shouldn't, he said in a Zoom conference afterwards. This isn't necessarily a market correction for the NBA. It's embraced the idea of player activism, knowing how serious its constituency was about the matter through the absence, but the players aren't monolith. There will be some with differing beliefs, differing strategies, and those who downright don't feel the way of this particular block. Isaac just happened to walk through that door with his words, did so with support of his teammates, perhaps not the content, but the mere expression. So not the content, but the mere expression. The face mask hid his apparent nervousness in being questioned for his actions. Okay. Actions he has a right to perform or not perform given the freedoms and presumed liberties this country provides. But even using the Almighty doesn't preclude Isaac from the eyebrow raising, stomach turning reaction from those who heard or read his explanation. He never expected obvious expert worded, he never expected the obvious expert worded follow up from Bleacher Report Taylor Rooks, who asked what religion has to do with the task at hand. Okay, the second verse in the book of Isaac was as bad as the first, as he continued with the trope so many use, not dissimilar from a crowd who can find any Bible verse to validate everything from child abuse to polygamy to even slavery. Okay. Let's see why it's going down here. There's more of the article here. Let's see here. Isaac played what about black on black crime? No, he didn't. And what about China and code or all sin is sin arguments? I don't think kneeling or putting a t-shirt on for me personally is the answer. Isaac said, Black lives are supported through the gospel. We all have things that we all do wrong. Whose wrong is worse? We all fall short of God's glory. That's true. We all do fall short of God's glory. That means then that if we all fall short, then the punishment that we receive when we have fell short should actually go ahead and go to the other nations who have not been punished as well. But see, they don't want that. They want they've been they've been brainwashed to think that we get to get destroyed for 400 to 500 years, but when it's their turn to actually get destroyed, it's all good. We're all sinners. We all make mistakes. See, that's where you went off right there. Quite a few things here, but trying to make the other nations feel comfortable that they don't have to actually pay for what their ancestors did. That's where this whole thing is going. They want to make it seem as if they never have to pay, but they get to ignore all the things that they had done to us, and that's not what's going to happen. Okay, so we all fall short. You're right, we all fall short. So therefore, we're all going to have to pay. We got to pay little by little over these last few thousand years, but now it's time for them to pay. Okay. Now he said, stating, we all fall short of God's glory, which in essence states no human is perfect, is true, but there are levels to this. What if it were taken further? If someone asked him, what did the gospel have to do with a killing on video, a man having his neck kneeled on for 8 minutes, 46 seconds, or a woman being shot multiple times on a no-knock warrant, he was given grace in that setting. Okay? That was his words, that his words didn't deserve. Using religion to avoid an intellectual conversation, a practical one, or even common sense, is an area nobody should have time or room for. Okay? There should be no other side to racism, no other side to police brutality, given the obvious examples we've seen over the last several years. Okay? So, like I said, it all goes back to the whole brainwashing of the churches. They brainwash our people so much that it's like, hey, we need to find some way to make these other nations, the wicked and the Gentiles, who just don't seem to think they have to pay for anything, feel okay, feel comfortable. And that was what happened when he stood up there, and then he goes and gives his explanation. It's pretty much about the gospel of Jesus Christ. We're all sinners, and and it's like, hey, that's what they've ingrained in us this entire time. We are their best advocates. These church-going people are their best advocates, that they never have to pay, that it's okay when they shoot us down, that it's okay, and that we need to just all fall under the blood of Christ. That's not going to fly anymore. I said that's what happens when they brainwash us in these religions, and people don't study. There's too much information out here now to just be sitting here and just, pretty much doing everything to make the man feel comfortable. He's not supposed to feel comfortable at this point. The Most High has awakened us in our lands where they don't belong. So the time of us making them feel comfortable is over. So fast forward to, I think today, he just, the same kid here, Isaac, was playing basketball. I think it was his first or second game back after messing up us. He had another injury. And then he just tears his ACL. So he's done. So it seems like the Most High raised him up, let him have his little platform, and then the Most High dealt with him. Now, see, people will always be like, well, don't say things like that because, why not? I said, everything that happens to us happens for a reason. It could be, Most High maybe opening his eyes. Who knows how the Most High is dealing with him? But the fact that he just tore his ACL right out of the blue, and that's what I was even looking on ESPN, and they showed him tearing his ACL, and then they went back to what he did on the first game when he stood, and they're like, well, we're not making any connections or saying anything, but this is what he did on the first game. This is the Most High has been dealing with our people like this all the time. He's been, if we it might not always happen right away like these things are happening, but it seems as if a lot of judgments are happening faster and faster. The Most High controls the right-hand side and the left-hand side. He gives you blessings and curses. He giveth and taketh away. And it seems that's exactly what happened right here. See, it would have been much better if you take a stand, and then when they ask you questions, and then you say things like, well, yes, I'm not black, but I'm a son of the Most High God. I'm not black. I had my identity taken away from me. I'm really one of the sons of the Most High. We are the Hebrew Israelites, and the Most High has awakened us in our lands. See, that's how you support the truth. Just saying, taking a t-shirt, taking a knee, that doesn't do anything. But the fact that he made a stand, but then his stand was he made a stand for white Jesus. Isaac's made a stand for Cesare Borgia. He made a stand for Christians and Catholic doctrine. That's where he messed up. It's about making a stand for the true power, telling the world the truth, that we are the true powers. We are the sons of the Most High. We are the sons of the power. We are the sons of God. We are the sons and daughters. We are the children of the Most High. And that we have come to the end of our oppression. And that the Most High is awakening his sons and daughters and the children to this truth. Now see, if you that's what taking a stand is. That's what taking a stand is for the Most High. Not, I'm not going to take a knee, but then, hey, we're all sinners. We're all about Jesus Christ, the gospel, preaching the gospel. See, that's just going to get you messed up now by the Most High. Because those lies are done. And now the Most High is showing how he's going to be dealing with people who are still following the ways of the heathen, still following, the religions of the heathen. I anticipate that the Most High is going to be definitely messing up quite a few people rather quickly, and and taking people down, because that is the season that we're in. So really choose your side. Choose who you're following. Are you following Good Times Jesus still, which is the vast majority of the world is? Or are you following the true power, the ultimate power of the universe? All praise is the Most High, Yahweh. Acknowledgement to the earthly mother, who is wisdom, who is Holy Spirit. Acknowledgement to Yahweh Shai. Shalom.
And that was so deep. I caught chills on the back of my neck, like like on the back of my back, you know. Who will take a stand for the truth? I mean, like, how many of us are in the truth, you know? It's sad. It is so sad because can't we not all read? Can we not overstand? I'm like, man, and it's like a dying cry. It's a dying cry. I mean, at this point, I'm done with political arenas. I'm done with everything. I'm just like, hey, you are in jeopardy, period. You know? That's the type of alarm that I'm sounding today, right now. So I try to come on here and be led because this is not my own stuff here, okay? I'm just a vessel. And me personally, you know, when I want to, when I want to carry on, I ain't got no problem with carrying on. You know what I'm saying? But right now, this ain't my show. You know, so I will remain as humble as possible. On that note, you know, it is so crazy that you can't even be playing with folks out here, not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. Mm-mm. Nope, you can't even extend a little piece of energy. Uh-uh. Uh-uh. Not one negative energy. You cannot give them you can't give them nothing to run with at this point. Because at this point, the last thing you need is that sprinkling on you. You know what I mean? Like you drilling and fires just coming out, sparkling everywhere. No, I'm good. I'm so good. I'm so good. You know, and I'm just, you know, like, wow. I'm amazed. You know. Oh my goodness, yo. So back to this woman here, you know, it's just it's crazy how, you know, she's just out there in the corner. She's I don't get it. I really don't get it. Like, you know, when you are in this know. When you are in this know and you see something like that, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. But then once again, I was told not to feel sorry for the Christians in a way because they if they would just take that energy and shift it, you know, shift it, shift it to back to your to the connection that you need, you know. And at this point, nothing should be worshipped. You know, no idols, no graven images, no nothing. I don't care what the Israelites are saying on the street. I don't care what who's saying what over here in these Christian churches. I don't care. I didn't never say that the Most High is not real. I didn't never say that I'm an Israelite in that sense. I didn't never say that. I said when you begin to read the book right, you begin to open your eyes begin to open, you begin to move different, you begin to see different, you begin to know different, you begin to learn all the things that you thought you knew that was right there in plain view sight. How many of us had a Bible for 20 up 10 years and still haven't been able to unseal that? Oh man. Y'all play too much for me. Y'all play too much for me. And still playing church out here, still playing church. Now, when I sat there and I read and you read it, it just speaks for itself. Because when you know who you are, the fact that you know this identity was swamped, you know, your identity got stolen from you. It was seized. It was not never ever to be remembered ever again. So the fact that all of these things are taking place, see, even the people that was seeing these things before, the Most High had to make sure that yes, that was a once upon a time. But you will begin to know the chosen when you start hearing the fruits just snap out of it. When you begin to see the fruits blossom with the truth out of nowhere, because you begin the book, whatever was the we always knew we was gifted, but we wasn't that in tune. You know what I'm saying? That in tune to like really read. Okay, so once you know who you are in the book, now you can actually hear the Most High speak to you. Before in these front store churches. They played church with us. We went to Sunday school. They MK controlled us a certain way. They detour us. You know what I'm saying? And then now, fast forward, traveling in time, televised, it's a revolution. Tell your vision is on. You better go hard and you better go in. Because that thing finna suck you up. And I'm not out here playing with nobody, so I ain't got time for that. It's either you love yourself or you don't. That ain't got nothing to do with me. But I tell you right now, your blood is not on my hand. Period. Watchman on the wall, I'll tell you, I kid you not. I kid you not. I'm doing my due diligence. Your blood, I don't care what nobody come on here and jump on here and say, you hear me? Your blood would not be on my hands, because anything that I have been see, when I go to sleep, I don't know where I go. Do you know where you go? Some of y'all have dreams, whatever, you in your bed, but where's your spirit? Your body's gone, asleep. Where's your spirit? See? And for me, I think within that time, I'm being loaded with information. You see? Come on now. We give ourselves not enough credit, if you will. We don't even intend to even begin to try to learn the human body. You just have a body, but you don't know what's going on with your body. You know what I mean? And what in the world is this nonsense here? Killer heroin hits Louisville, dozens overdose on a city block. They just laid out. And you know what? Somebody had the nerve to say, unfortunately, they still alive. I was like, wow. How mean is that? But they look like dead men on the floor with their mouths open, gone. They all fell asleep. Look at this. So, but I'm just saying though. This is definitely some shit, The life we have to live. The life that we have to endure. Now, some of us come and wake up and we become alive out of that death right there. Some of us get up and say, oh, wow. Sometimes it's just going to be too late. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes. So everybody's being tested right now, Everybody, you got to be late. You got to be late. You need this spirit. I'm telling you, you're going to need this spirit and the truth, man. The only thing that's cutting them up is the truth. Is the truth. Is the truth. And they still going to come. They going to come in full force. That's why the Most High finna do what the Most High finna do. And before you are, my cry, I want to be counted worthy. You know what I'm saying? I want to be counted worthy. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be through it all. This was a life experience for me, and through it all, I found myself, and that was the power of the Most High. Just like everyone is finding themselves in this last hour. The Most High Yah is not playing. You know what I'm saying? And every time I get on here, I'm going to make sure I let the Israelites in the streets know that too. Most High is not playing with none of us. None of us. And there's no way in the world you see people coming out of this forced deity, forced dispensation, this delusion, to tell them, oh, you don't need to worship a white Jesus. You just need to worship a black Jesus. That frustrates me, man. That's a turn off. It's like, man, come on, can you just read the whole book for real? Can we overstand this? Can we just overstand that we're living in a broken covenant, that we've been bamboozled into religion, that, we come from a certain type of history that's very unique. You can't run from it. Why wouldn't it match up with the scripts? Who in the hell in the world has been through what the children of Israel has been through? I haven't seen it yet. And although they might try to look up stuff and different entities and try to like make believe clones are, you know, we man, listen. And now they still playing these Corona games. So let me tell you about that. That is not nothing to be playing with, y'all. I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you right now. This winter will determine on your wicked ass heart. See, there's something above our head, and it's called Nimru. Not Nimrod. Nimru. And that shit is called hell. It come with fire. And every evil individual that partakes in a demise, that whether you think you on the good side or any side, that's why the word said don't go left and don't go right. It took me a lifetime to figure that one out. But when I was caught up, I said, oh, whoa. I had to pull myself out of that. So wait a minute. What's this? I'm good. You know? And just trying to remain as human as possible, you know? As the world's in decay and folks are just becoming more and more inhumane, if you will, just allowing themselves to be dehumanized, you know, in the name of everything in the political arena that has to throw, you know, at us. Now, the one thing that I can't hardly get past, the one thing that I can't hardly get past is how someone's so self-conflicted, you know, someone so, you know, that needs a whole, you know, everyone got to work on themselves, you know. How can someone lead so many people down a I was not gonna curse. How can this one someone lead so many people down a cliff? Now that's deep. That's, you know how much blood that's, oh my goodness, on your hands, playing games with people's souls out here. Yo, the political game is so wicked. We always intend to forget that, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities of higher rulers. And we get to playing with these monarchs and these crazy ass honkies. You know, I can't leave that out. Every now and then I could be nice, but I ain't really got nothing to celebrate, so on that note. We out here playing these games with them. And they know better. They know exactly what they do. But because, you know, I'm telling you, the thought and being so locked in your brain. Oh my goodness. When I look back, I'll give you a great illustration. Some of y'all got a long way to go. Some of y'all fighting it. Some of y'all haven't really been digging good enough. Because those who seek shall find. Ask and you shall receive. And sometimes, if you really repent good enough and you really mean well and you really, you know, didn't have no real evil in your heart, you know, and you at least try to make amends with folks. But if you out here intentionally, oh my goodness. Oh, jeez, man. Doing the most. Man, that's so wicked. That's 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 forever wicked. You know. That's one thing we fail to realize. When you do something, is done forever. Can't undo stupid. You can get over it, but I don't know, man. It's like, what is it gonna take? You know. But it's like, man, I speak life over this because I feel like everyone has a fair chance. You owe it to yourself, and that's why we gotta depart. If you too busy trying to love a world that don't love you, man, who are you kidding on these damn internets, on these damn devices? That's why I'm able to do what I do, because I don't try to be famous out here. I'm not playing no games. I'm just making sure your blood ain't on my hand. Because when you know too much, you just can't sit on it. You gotta sound the alarm, you know. You gotta do it in a way where it goes like, set off an echo chamber, you know. It would be nice if people can, take your talking points for the better, and not take your talking points and tell you, and take your positive and turn it into a negative. You feel me? I try to, like, take your whole words and just, erase it like you never said it, by trying to overtalk you, or just do funky shit. You know how people like to waste people time type shit. It'd be nice, if we could just, respect one another, work as a team. If you are human and you really, really are about that life, quit playing games out this mug. Stop leading people astray. You can start with yourself. I don't need nothing from nobody. Do it for yourself. Do it for your loved ones. Do it for whoever you think you are. You know what I'm saying? Folks be out here doing the most. I can't even. I can't. I just can't even, man, begin to even wonder how this how this would be. I rather for the world to end, pretty much. If that means these enemies just being wiped out by the Most High, yeah, like, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. And I'll be out here trying to sound what? Sound what? You know what I'm saying? If we have a huge enemy that's fully equipped, that's maliciously trying to force some kind of type of crazy ass, it's not like, we didn't see this moment coming. It's here. It's not like we didn't know. We knew. I mean, not that anyone has ever preached it, but that don't mean they gonna win. See? Everything they doing to the ones that don't that already been written in the script a certain type of way. You know, I don't expect too much. I really don't. I know I better be paying attention to what I'm doing and hope and wish for the better for my folks out there. You ain't got to be a Ken hater. You ain't got to be an Abel killer. You ain't got to be a frenemy. This is a season to be your brother's keeper. And if we be each other's keepers, we will be able to make it through a tyrannical government. You're not hearing me. I could care less about this system. The only one that the only way things are going to be lit is when the Most High come through the way the Most High gonna come through. Because the Most High is, man, Mother Earth will swallow folks up, man. That's all you see lately, man. Mother Earth is just swallowing folks up. They on roofs. And some of them been saved too, because them storms is literally saving them, to become stronger. It may look weak. You know what I'm saying? It may look weak, but Man, listen. That's gonna be a good a good win in the air, because this, if you not notice all the tribes, where all the tribes are at, that's where the geoengineering hit. Just to get everybody ready. 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 Yep. And the ones that know better, they know better. They know better. You know. And just learning, it's crazy. It is so crazy learning about some new maps. I'll be back with that from old school, you know. Just so glad to know that this is such a great confirmation that I know that we are in the right land, like on so many levels. They know that they're being swept off this land. The Most High is not playing with folks no more. No more. They playing like they in charge. Fucci, all that. Let me tell you. Most High is doing what the Most High do. All energy. They even know. They call the Most High an invisible enemy. Even though they war, they doing the most. This is World War III. This is a silent war. Y'all comfortable in your captivity. Damn. Still doing the most on the internet. Still doing the most, carelessly. Not caring about nothing. But the Most High is not playing. And I can't hardly stress this enough. Like, we are right there at the peak. It is not a game. No one knows the hour nor the time. Don't get me started out here. But it will come like a thief in the night. And I know one thing. There's some wonderful things happening along with some sorrows. The times of the times of the signs are all in your faces. All you gotta do is pay attention. Pay attention. But that's all I got for you right now. I need a break.